Just taking little pieces of like things that I really like here and noticing the differences from back home or from other places I've been and just trying to find ways to incorporate them into my life. First scrimmage done. This is Emily.
Hi.
How do you think the first scrimmage went?
Not so bad.
Not bad, but we need to work on serving.
Yes.
Yeah, but that's
And-
every team literally ever.
Yeah.
Now I have to call an Uber to my hotel and I'm spending the weekend in Berlin.
Crazy.
Here's my room. It's at Circus Hostel, Berlin. I got a single room because I just wasn't quite sure how I would feel like sleeping with other people. Actually, I knew how I'd feel. I wasn't confident. I think when someone says like, oh, they don't care, like everything's fine. I just took like a 10-minute walk, turned like 15, 20 to go to this bakery. It's called Sophie that I saw on TikTok. And I've decided to just go somewhere else. The line is super long. And now I realize like why I had such a hard time finding it, because it's like inside of this like buildings. Like I'm used to like obviously like courtyards and stuff, but usually like in New York or like Chicago, Philly, like these buildings are just buildings, not like alleyways and like streets or courtyards in between that you can walk through. And the inside of these buildings is like a whole huge courtyard, which is so cool. But that's why it was so hard for me to find the bakery when I was on the other side, and I had to walk around where there's a more obvious entrance here. But the line was just super long, and I just don't think it's that worth it. Like it's a TikTok restaurant, you know, like it's really cute, but I'm really hungry now, and I found a different bakery that has seats outside, so I'm gonna do that. My food is here. I will say this aspect of solo travel is not weird to me. Like going to get a meal by myself, getting coffee, getting some shops, walking into like a museum or a gallery isn't necessarily weird for me, because of all the travel I've had to do for work and different things and just going off and exploring things. But I will say like the part that's weird for me is like dinner alone, like in a crowded spot. So like when I want to go to a restaurant later and like really get like a nice sit down meal, like I think that will be a little bit weird. Usually if I get dinner by myself or something, it's at like a quick service restaurant, like somewhere you order up at the counter and then they come bring it to you. Not really somewhere where there's like a full waiter. I think I'm always, but especially now, just taking little pieces of like things that I really like here and noticing the differences from back home or from other places I've been and just trying to, hey, like find ways to incorporate them into my life, like when I get back or just in general. I really love how much more intentionally I have to live here in Germany so far. So, for example, obviously the recycling, just like recognizing what I'm buying and what's a part of it, each piece. And I know that seems like ridiculous, but seeing like, oh, this part of the container is paper and this part is plastic, and like, is it true that I can't recycle this container because it has food in it? Can't I just rinse it out and then let it dry and then put it in? Like, I just think that that's like, I don't know, it just makes me move a little bit slower and think about what I'm doing and like think about everything that's a part of what I'm doing. That might be a little like out there, but yeah. And then also like just planning like my days more intentionally and what I'm going to do. So like I have a bike right now. I don't have a car. And I can only carry so much with my hands when I'm walking, even though my grocery store is in a very far place, like far away, but like decently far enough where I can't have bags and bags like I would, like in Ithaca or Syracuse when I just had my car and I could just pick up whatever I wanted. And so it's like I'm more intentional about, okay, what do I want to eat this week? What goes with what? What do I think will last well? And even the food doesn't just like stay fresh forever. Like I had some zucchini that I bought last Friday and by Wednesday it was bad, and like that doesn't normally happen, and that's definitely a little annoying, but just thinking more intentionally, not just buying food or doing things just for whatever reason, but being very specific about that is like kind of like that's kind of the positive way I'm thinking about like not having a car and biking and the walking and getting used to that. Another example is with my clothes. We only have a washing machine, we don't have a dryer, and the washing machine takes significantly longer than the washing machines I've used in the US. And a big part of the reason is because of sustainability, which is a huge thing in Germany. So like I had a scrimmage yesterday and we needed to wear specific t-shirts. I had to make sure that my t-shirt was washed and that everything I would need is washed and that the towel that I need is going to be ready and that I can dry those and I have, a couple of hours in the day to put them up on the drying rack and make sure that they're dry and make sure that they're ready. All these things are more intentional. Like, so I can't just like jump into the car and go do them. Need to find a nail salon. Actually, I saw one at the mall, in Grimham. Maybe I'll just get nail polish from Riverside. I don't know. I got the blue for Grimham before I left New York City. And it's really chipped and I know I should like fix it, but I'm not. I love to have my nails done for specific occasions and like I want them to look good for those, especially if it's pictures or like with the podcast and stuff. In general, I don't normally care. But now that I'm always recording myself and like putting now, especially with the vlog and like putting my hands in the frame, I feel like I should get them done, but it doesn't feel like me yet. It's such an annoying expense, but it does look so good when you have your nails done. Thursday and Friday were probably the hardest volleyball days for me so far here. I guess that would be like my fifth practice and then our first scrimmage because I think just the language difference and the language barrier in a way, just like, and the cultural difference and barrier got to me a little bit more. There was just like some situation. Like, I don't always believe that like my coaches or teammates believe that I understand them. And also just recognizing that maybe I don't understand them as much as I think I do. And this was like something that came up. Like the coach and the manager had said, like, hey, we're gonna do practice in German and like all the main team conversations in German, and then we'll translate to you in English. And I think this is something to just learn about language. And something I remember from psychology is that just language and the way things are said, just like are so different. Even like there's rarely ever like a direct translation for something. There's just overall kind of meaning and kind of getting to the point. So right now coach will have like a long, talk during practice or say something, to start the practice or like explaining the next drill, whatever. And it's kind of like a longer conversation. And then someone will translate for me. And so sometimes it's at the end of that and at the end of his thing, and sometimes it's as he's speaking. And I just think I get the final point and I get what I'm supposed to do, but sometimes I worry that I miss out on the nuance. For example, yesterday, coach, yesterday we had our first scrimmage and coach was talking about like, oh, our blocking and like we need to do better blocking and also talked about like our hitting and serving, like a bunch of different things in between sets. And someone translated it for me and it's like, oh, we need to do better blocking, we're not doing that well, we need to do better hitting. Like he just like said exactly what I just said. And then later on I told one of the girls like, hey, like, I know coach is disappointed about our blocking, I but we didn't, I said like, hey, and then like I just was like, hey, I know coach said we should do better blocking, but I feel like we didn't really practice blocking in practice, and like this we haven't even practiced like doing, both people going up for a double block. Like, um, is he really upset about it? And she's like, oh yeah, that's what he said. I was like, oh, okay. For me, I think the lesson is just making sure that I'm never putting an emotional aspect on it, which I think you're always said as a player, like listen to the words, not like listen to the meaning, not like the words or like the way it's said, and like don't take tone and emotion. But this is definitely one where that's like super important. I think just like I'm used to being like a leader on the court a bit, whether it was like captain like at Cornell or just like the fifth year at Syracuse, and just being very communicative and being able to kind of give encouragement and like talk to my teammates a lot. And I know I can do that on this team too. but I just have to get the confidence to do that, and maybe also learn a few like more keywords in German.